সবাইকে আমন্ত্রণ জানাচ্ছি আজকের বিশেষ আলাপচারিতায়। আমাদের সময়সীমা পরিবর্তিত হয়েছে, আপনারা নিশ্চয়ই জানেন ইতিমধ্যে, এবং আগামীকাল যেহেতু পবিত্র শবে বরাত, সেজন্য আমাদের আজকে আলাপচারিতা সময় পরিবর্তন করে, দিন পরিবর্তন করে সোমবারে ধার্য করা হয়েছে। আমাদের বর্তমান যে পরিস্থিতি, করোনা ভাইরাস লকডাউনের তৃতীয় সপ্তাহ শুরু হলো। এই তৃতীয় সপ্তাহে আমাদের মৃত্যুর মিছিল বেড়েই চলেছে। আজকে সর্বশেষ যুক্তরাজ্যে করোনা ভাইরাসে আক্রান্ত হয়ে মৃতের সংখ্যা ছিল সরকারি হিসেব অনুযায়ী ৫,৩৭৩। তবে যেটা আসার কথা, সরকারি হিসেব মতো আমাদের যে বিধিনিষেধ আরোপ করা হয়েছে লকডাউনের অধীনে, সেই বিধিনিষেধ আমরা যদি মেনে চলি তাহলে ভবিষ্যতে কিছুদিনের মধ্যেই মে মাসের শেষ পর্যায়ে হয়তো আমরা এই অবস্থার একটা উন্নতি দেখতে পাবো। পাশাপাশি আমরা জানি যে গতকাল রাত থেকে আমাদের প্রধানমন্ত্রী বরিস জনসন হাসপাতালে রয়েছেন। গত 10 দিন আগে তিনি করোনা ভাইরাসে আক্রান্ত হয়েছিলেন এবং গতকাল তার অবস্থার কিছুটা অবনতি হয়েছে বলে আমরা ধারণা করেছি এবং সেজন্যই তিনি হাসপাতালে রয়েছেন। তবে সরকারের পক্ষ থেকে বলা হয়েছে যে করোনা ভাইরাসের যে প্রজেক্ট বা যে কার্যকলাপ চলছে সরকারিভাবে, আমাদের প্রধানমন্ত্রী তিনি এখনও তার ওভারঅল দায়িত্বে রয়েছেন এবং তার অধীনেই সরকারি টিম বা সরকারি মন্ত্রণালয় এবং সরকারের মন্ত্রীরা এই কার্য পরিচালনা করছেন। আজকে আমাদের অনুষ্ঠানের প্রথম পর্বে আমরা কথা বলবো লন্ডন বরো অফ টাওয়ার হ্যামলেটসের এক্সিকিউটিভ মেয়র মিস্টার জন বিগসের সঙ্গে। তার কাছে জানতে চাইবো লন্ডন বরো অফ টাওয়ার হ্যামলেটস, যেখানে আমরা জানি যে ঘন বসতিপূর্ণ একটি লন্ডন পাড়া এবং এখানে বাঙালি অধ্যুষিত একটি বড় অংশ রয়েছে এবং সেখানে কী ধরনের সাহায্য সহযোগিতা রয়েছে এই কমিউনিটির জন্য, সে ব্যাপারে মিস্টার জন বিগসের কাছে আমরা জানতে চাইবো। থ্যাংক ইউ জন ফর গিভিং আস দ্য টাইম অ্যান্ড জয়নিং আস in the studio.
That's my pleasure.
Okay, John, how are you? Are you keeping yourself well?
Yeah, I'm. It's hard work, but I'm keeping myself isolated with nothing to do, and we're working up at the town hall trying to keep the people of Tower Hamlets at and that's largely about getting people to behave in a way that's thoughtful and stops the virus from spreading, but also supporting people who may have been had the virus or maybe in the fragile.
How are the people of Tower Hamlets behaving in terms of the lockdown restrictions?
Well, most people are being pretty observant. Obviously, some people get fed up with the restrictions and they want to go out and play or whatever. But I think the message is getting across that this is a very dangerous virus, and people behave themselves and stop it from transferring from one person to another, then we can defeat it, or we can finish this problem quicker than we would otherwise do it.
Thank you. John, do you have the figure? What's the latest figure of people being infected and people who have lost their lives as a result of coronavirus?
The problem is that the government's not really measuring the virus in the community. They're only measuring when people get into hospital. So there have been, according to those figures, only a couple of hundred people have been infected, but I think we all know it's several thousand. And the number of people who lost their lives, it's a few dozen in Tower Hamlets so far. But the figures again, we want people to be nervous, I guess, but we don't want to frighten people. It is going to get a little bit worse, but we need to slow it down to make it as manageable as possible.
I mean, I assume that like the government, you, in terms of the council, you are holding emergency gold meeting or similar things with all your partner agencies. So what are the main concerns you have in relation to London Borough of Tower Hamlets?
Well, okay, there's several. I mean, we need to make sure that people behave in a way that reduces the spread of the infection. We also need to make sure that our hospitals are not overloaded, which is part of the same thing. We need to make sure what we call our adult social care services are strong enough so that when people come out of hospital or need supporting in their home, that we are in a good place to do that. And then we need to try and keep the show on the road. I mean, they're the main medical concerns. Longer term, we've got about the fact that they've lost their jobs, and so people will be finding it very hard. So we need to find a lot of ways that we can support people, get this to an end as quickly as possible.
In terms of working with the health service, local health services, are you ensuring that GPs are available for the community to be supported and health visitors are available to support young mothers, new mothers and people in general?
So as best as we can, that's what we're doing. And so, for example, we're using some of our children's centres for for people to meet their GPs and the health visitors outside of the GP practices, which are possibly quite dangerous at the moment if people have the virus there. And so, yeah, we need to keep supporting people in all sorts of ways, particularly people who are vulnerable, particularly people who are pregnant, people with long-term health problems.
Are you ensuring that your workers are getting enough PPE to safeguard themselves in relation to people who are in the front line?
Okay, well, that's been a big national problem, and so it hasn't been as bad here as in some other places. So I suppose the first point is make sure the NHS staff have enough PPE. And I think that's the case in Tower Hamlets. Second thing is to make sure all our frontline care worker staff have the right PPE. And then alongside that, there are lots of people who do voluntary work as well and who work for not-for-profit organisations and who contact people. Got to make sure they have it as well. So one of the big criticisms of the government is that they have been slow to get this in the right place. It's getting better, but we only ever have a couple of days supply at any one time, so we need this.
Okay. John, in terms of your comments, you mentioned earlier that number of small businesses and people who are unemployed or self-employed are experiencing a significant level of financial hardship. So what's your plan to support this community? We understand that you have received a good amount of financial support from the government to support these people, self-employed small businesses who, as a result of this COVID-19, their business had significant impact. How are you going to support this community?
I mean, for some businesses, it's really catastrophic. Some have seen a collapse of their income and have no income at all, and that's obviously very worrying for them. What we have done is to carry the program, which is about people getting their business rates returned to them, and if they're small organisations, getting grants as well from the local authority. We also have a business advice service. We're working with other business advice agencies. But I know for a lot of small businesses, it's a very, very anxious time. So we get the balance right between this lockdown and allowing people actually to get back to economic activity. That's a big punch for us.
How much have you received? How much have you received, Mr. Biggs, from the government in terms of grant?
Well, that's a very good question. We received. It depends on who you're asking and what it's about. So up till now, we have received about £14 million, but that's for adult social care. So that's not for helping people. We've received about £5 million for tax reductions for people who need additional help with their council tax.
But in terms of government grant to support small businesses or affected businesses, how much have you received?
So the amount we're going to need is about £160 million, and we can borrow that equipment, and the government say we will get it back. But I think on its own that will not be enough. It depends how long people got. So we're just giving out £90 million worth of business rates and another £60 million on top of that of grants to smaller businesses.
So to ensure that businesses who are really affected are going to be supported, what steps would you be taking to ensure that a clear and transparent distribution of this money?
Okay, so the answer to that is that the government's put out some very clear rules. What we're doing is we are speaking to the government about the way that's working, because there are places where it isn't working very well. But the council itself doesn't have the money to directly do this ourselves. We're doing most of the government's work, but we're supporting advice agencies that will help businesses to get their applications in the right place. For many businesses, this will be automatic. They will just get the money put into their bank account. But for some of the smaller businesses, that's a problem. And so we're getting on top of that now.
So who would be eligible for automatic grant?
Anyone who has a business rates account should get the business rate sent back to them by the council on behalf of the government. And anyone who is a qualifying small business in a number of sectors, depending on their business rates, will either get a grant of £10,000 or £25,000.
John, the concerns that we have in the community, because obviously number of small businesses who haven't had experience of applying in such kind of grants in the past. So would you be employing officers or deploying officers to support the small businesses in terms of giving them the right guidance and support to make these applications through?
Yeah. We can give them some signposting, but what we also need to do more powerfully, I think, get to the government and say, look, this is not working. So if the shutdown is only for 2, 3, 4 weeks, then I think we can get by. Some people will have trouble even surviving in 2, 3, 4 weeks. If it can't last much longer than that, we'll have to go back to the government and say, look, your small business sector will be destroyed by this unless you put more money and support into it. So we don't have the money ourselves, but we need to argue on behalf of our small business. So I want people to get in touch with me and with our business council so that we can make a strong case on your behalf.
Brilliant. So what's going to happen in terms of people who are unemployed and at the moment can't support school meals or rent for their property? What's going to happen to these people?
Okay, well, if you become unemployed, then the benefit service say that they're going to be processing universal credit a lot more quickly. I remain to see what that's going to happen. On top of that, our council tax reduction scheme will work automatically to reduce your amount of council tax. Plus, anyone who gets any council tax benefit will get £150 off their council tax bill automatically as well. On top of that, the free school meals is a bit complicated, and we're having difficulty keeping that going at present. But everyone who's eligible for a free school meal should continue to get a free school meal, even during the holiday period. The government's talking about moving to vouchers, but they haven't quite got that working yet. So we're providing hot meals in schools, and we're packages of food that families can take away if their child is eligible for a free school meal.
What about eviction? People who can't pay their rent?
So the government has frozen evictions until, I think, September. So if you can't pay your rent, your landlord can't just throw you out for that. And courts are not meeting to offer possession hearings. Obviously, that doesn't mean people don't have to pay their rent, but we recognise, and I think the government recognises as well, I'm not here to speak for the government, but they recognise that if you just lost your job and you've got a benefit claim and it's got stuck in the pipeline, then you may have trouble paying your rent. What they've also done is to increase the threshold, which means that if you're living in a slightly more expensive property than normally would be eligible for benefit, you will still get benefit from the government towards your rent. But let's not mess about. I mean, these things are short-term bits of elastic, and if we don't get an end to this fairly quickly, then something far more serious will happen.
John, Tower Hamlets Council were criticised in terms of not deploying their trading standard officers into action much earlier, and we have seen number of shops increasing their prices, which affected especially the Bangladeshi community significantly. So how would you respond to that? I know, prices have gone down, but people who have made money out of this situation, how are you going to treat those people, treat those businessmen?
Okay, we have got limited weapons to respond to that. We think the government should give us stronger tools to do it. But we do have trading standards, and if people are acting dishonestly, then we can take them to court for trading standards offences. On top of that, we can refer people to a government body called the Competition and Markets Authority if they're acting in a proper way, doing deals with each other to keep the prices up. I think the main thing we need to do is to say to our business community, or particularly our shopkeepers, that you're part of the community and we need you to support the community at this important time. And if we find evidence of people gouging extra profits, then we will be after you. But the far more useful thing to do would be for everyone to work together and to keep the prices real. Obviously, some of the prices may have gone up from wholesalers or whatever, but it's really not proper. If the prices have suddenly doubled overnight, that's not proper business. That's
I mean, this is a emotionally very traumatizing time for your residents as well. I mean, across the world, to be honest. So, what would you be saying to people who are experiencing domestic violence or lots of emotional stress as a result of this self-confinement or self-isolation?
Well, we have one of the biggest domestic violence teams in the country. We recognise the increase. We want people to report. We want the police, and the police are already up to doing this, to take this matter to a higher priority than historically they would have done. Perhaps seen an increase in demand, and there are other things. So the idea of locking people in their homes 24 hours a day would be terrible in terms of domestic violence, and in terms of people being able to have some freedom. So we need people to be well behaved in public, but we need people to be able to exercise as well. This is a very serious matter. We've seen an increase in domestic violence in the last 3 weeks, but it's early days yet. If the lockdown carries on longer, we could get into a more serious position.
Okay. Finally, John, our PM is in the hospital at the moment. So this is, I think, and additional stress for us in terms of, the leader is in hospital, and people are questioning in terms of if he's unwell or ill enough to be hospitalized, how he is going to be leading the country in terms of in such a stressful time. What's your observation or take on this?
Well, nobody, we can't be in a position where the country can't run if one person is ill, and he has replaced looking after it while he's in hospital. Obviously, I know Boris, I've known him for years, and I hope he gets better as a fellow human being. We just need to focus on our priorities locally, and he needs to get back to his desk as soon as possible.
John, finally, in terms of what would be your concluding remarks to our small business community who are absolutely very anxious, how you'd be supporting them as well as the residents of Tower Hamlets?
Okay, well, I've been speaking with our local MPs who can put pressure on the government. We've been putting pressure ourselves. So we want to hear what your problems are. On top of that, we want to use the support service to give you advice where we can. And the business community in Tower Hamlets is really vital to supporting all of our community, and we just need to knuckle down and help you through this difficult period as best we can.
John, there is a caller waiting for you, so we will quickly take the call if you don't mind. Hello, caller. কে রয়েছেন আমাদের সঙ্গে? Caller, who is on the line?
হ্যালো, হ্যালো।
ওয়ালাইকুম সালাম।
উর্মি দিদি কেমন আছেন?
জি ভালো। Who is this?
আলী মাতরাম বলছেন, ম্যানচেস্টার।
ওকে
দিদি, আমার একটা মেসেজ আপনার মাধ্যমে পৌঁছাইতাম, যিনি যে টাওয়ার হামলেটসের মেয়র বা আমরা এমপি রুশনারা আলী, আমরা অত কষ্ট করে ভোট দিয়ে তাদের বানাইছি, যিনি তোমার মেয়র এরপরে এমপি রে, কিন্তু সব জিনিসের দাম বাড়াই দিয়েছেন, যিনি বাঙালি হলে
Yes, we raised it, Bhaiya. I've already raised that with Mr. Bakes in terms of Tower Hamlets Council being not as active as we would have liked it to be in terms of using the trading standard officers when we needed them. And John has already responded. You have already responded, John, in relation to that question.
I'm always happy to be criticised. I think we have responded quite strongly, and I understand that things have improved. But we don't always get everything right. I mean, I didn't expect shopkeepers. Most of our shopkeepers are pretty honest, decent people and are working hard for the community. And I was as shocked and disappointed by the small number who abused this as everyone else was.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, John, for your time, and stay safe, keep well.
Okay, and thank you, and to you, Amy. Thank you.
Thank you. দর্শক, আমরা আমাদের ATN এর আমাদের সরকারের যে স্বাস্থ্য রক্ষা বিষয়ক কর্মসূচি রয়েছে সে ব্যাপারে ছোট্ট একটি বিজ্ঞাপন দেখে ফিরে আসছি। আবারও আমাদের সঙ্গেই থাকুন।
যুক্তরাজ্যে করোনা ভাইরাস সংক্রমণ রোধে জাতীয় জরুরি নির্দেশনা মেনে চলুন। বাড়িতে থাকুন, খুব প্রয়োজন না হলে বাড়ির বাইরে যাবেন না এবং কারো সাথে সাক্ষাৎ করবেন না। শুধুমাত্র ঔষধ এবং নিত্য প্রয়োজনীয় জিনিস কিনতে বাড়ির বাইরে যেতে পারবেন। যদি প্রয়োজন মনে করেন তাহলে প্রতিদিন যে কোনো এক ধরনের শারীরিক ব্যায়ামের জন্য বাড়ির বাইরে যেতে পারেন। শুধুমাত্র জরুরি প্রয়োজনে কর্মক্ষেত্রে যাওয়ার জন্য পাবলিক ট্রান্সপোর্ট ব্যবহার করুন। পরিবার ব্যতীত 2 জনের অধিক ব্যক্তির জনসমাগম একেবারে নিষিদ্ধ। এইসব নিয়ম অমান্য করলে পুলিশ আপনাকে জরিমানা করতে পারবে। নিজে বাঁচুন, অন্যকে বাঁচান এবং সাহায্য করুন আমাদের NHS-কে। জনস্বার্থে ATN বাংলা UK। যুক্তরাজ্যে করোনা ভাইরাস
এখন যোগ দেবেন ঢাকা থেকে সহকর্মী বুলবুল হাসান। বুলবুল বাংলাদেশে রয়েছেন এবং আমরা খুব সংক্ষেপে বাংলাদেশে করোনা ভাইরাস যে অবস্থানে রয়েছে সে ব্যাপারে তার কাছ থেকে একটি সম্যক ধারণা চাইতে পাচ্ছি বলে আশা করব। বুলবুল চলে এসছে আমাদের সঙ্গে। বুলবুল হাসান সাংবাদিক রয়েছে এই মুহূর্তে বাংলাদেশে। বুলবুল, কেমন আছো এবং বাংলাদেশের অবস্থা কেমন?
ধন্যবাদ আমাকে যুক্ত করবার জন্য। আমি ভালো আছি, আমার পরিবার ভালো আছে। তবে অবস্থা দৃষ্টিতে যেটি মনে হচ্ছে যে বাংলাদেশের গত কয়েকদিনে করোনা পরিস্থিতি, আক্রান্ত মানুষের সংখ্যা বৃদ্ধি পাওয়ায় মানুষের ভেতরে কিন্তু এক ধরনের আতঙ্ক বিরাজ করছে। আতঙ্কটা এই কারণে যে আপনি জানেন যে এই করোনা ছড়িয়ে যাবার কয়েকটি পর্যায়ে রয়েছে। এখন বলা হচ্ছে যে এটি কমিউনিটি ট্রান্সমিশনের পর্যায়ে রয়েছে এবং কমিউনিটি ট্রান্সমিশনের যেহেতু বাংলাদেশ একটি ঘন জনবসতিপূর্ণ একটি দেশ, তো সেই কারণে মানুষ মনে করছে যে এটি হয়তো সংখ্যা আরো বৃদ্ধি পাবে এবং আতঙ্কটি সেই কারণে। আরেকটি শঙ্কার কারণ হচ্ছে যে সারা পৃথিবীতে আপনি জানেন যে যুক্তরাজ্য সহ যুক্তরাষ্ট্র, ইউরোপের বিভিন্ন দেশে এই যে কিট বা চিকিৎসার যন্ত্রপাতি সেটি কিন্তু একটি সংকট রয়েছে। তো বাংলাদেশে খুব স্বাভাবিকভাবেই স্বাস্থ্য ব্যবস্থার যে সামগ্রিক অবস্থা, তাতে করে এই সংকটটি তো এখানে আরো অনেক বেশি তীব্র। তো কাজেই যদি ওইরকম পরিস্থিতি হয় তাহলে কি হবে সেটি নিয়ে একটা বড় ধরনের দুশ্চিন্তা রয়েছে। দুশ্চিন্তার আরো অনেকগুলো মাত্রা রয়েছে, যেমন ধরা যাক রাষ্ট্র বা সরকার কি ব্যবস্থা গ্রহণ করবে সেটি নিয়ে মানুষের এক ধরনের উদ্বেগ রয়েছে। সরকারের যে সিদ্ধান্তগুলো আছে সেগুলো নিয়ে তাদের বিশ্বাস অবিশ্বাসের অনেক ধরনের ব্যাপার রয়েছে। কিন্তু এর বিপরীত চিত্রে যদি আমরা দেখি যে এই পুরো সংকটটিকে মোকাবেলা করবার জন্য জনগণ কি ভূমিকা পালন করছে, বা যে নিয়মগুলো মেনে চলার কথা বা যতটুকু যত্নবান কথা বিবেচনা করে যতটুকু সাবধান দরকার,
দুঃখিত
সেটি তারা
একটু থামাচ্ছি। আমরা বিজ্ঞাপন বিরতির পর ফিরে আসবো তোমার কাছে জনগণ এবং সরকারের পদক্ষেপ নিয়ে। দর্শক, আমরা ছোট্ট বিজ্ঞাপন বিরতির পর ফিরে আসছি, আমাদের সঙ্গে থাকুন।